No one's rizzed me up in a long time.
My stomach is turning.
Can we kick him from the call?
Do I have that power?
When I was
Jordan, you've been voted off the island.
When I was teaching, I used to, because like trying to annoy my kids.
Oh, I do have that power.
I'd always be things that like, hey kids, that.
Welcome to the Sickos Committee Podcast.
Welcome to the Sickos Committee Podcast.
Let me get started.
I like how we have a cold open.
No, we started with that.
We already started. Welcome to the Sickos Committee Podcast. This is Commissioner Escalante.
No. This is our podcast this is part 2 podcast.
This is part 2
of Tuesday, December 2nd, 2024.
A 2-for-1 special.
I know. I told you guys in the last episode things were going to get weirder, and I'm pretty sure they're going to devolve very quickly.
I got another drink, folks.
We don't have any fun mascots to talk about this last one.
Yeah, we do.
Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, justice for Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. Yeah.
Oh.
So do you all know he got run off of Twitter, right?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the furries came after him. Because the furries came after him. The furries were like being way too horny on Maine.
Oh boy, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
They were after Tony's frosted cakes.
Oh boy.
I shouldn't have got that second drink. Or maybe I should have. Who knows?
That
was good.
In case you listened to the last episode, I will say it again. I want to say thank you to everyone who donated to our charity drive for Iowa, for the community crisis center in Iowa City. We have raised almost $18,000 for their food pantry. That's amazing. We are so completely just blown away by y'all's generosity and how much you supported us and Iowa through this whole season. The notes we've gotten in the emails, people have been sending us emails saying, this is for my family who went to Iowa. This is for my brother who went to Iowa. This is for just the joy that Iowa football has brought me this season. And we get it. We love y'all so much. Thank you so much for everything you guys donated. It's been great. And Commish and I are working on making sure everyone who's sent us an email gets their little surprise. Once I figure out how to mail merge it without cutting off the last line, I don't know how I'd do that.
I have no idea. Whatever.
I promise you, I know how to mail merge. I promise you.
No, seriously, if I got to copy and paste whatever into this label Word format, the only thing that works to get these things out, I'll do it. I love the dedications from the the reporters. I'm sorry, the donators, not the reporters, but like somebody's like dropping like gifts that says "You sickos." Another one is just Iowa and it's a bunch of corn. I mean, like really is like, we will beat Iowa's points per game and donations. Hold strong, sickos. You did it. Whatever you said, you definitely did it. Brian may be leaving as OC, but hopefully Iowa can just be as sickos next season. So, I mean, that shows like again, I got to get my ass up to Iowa City to a game. I got to do the Kinnick wave. I got to say hi to all of you. I want to wear a punting is winning shirt. I want, a live, laugh, punt shirt from our store. I may just get one of those and just go out there and just hand out live, laugh, punt stickers to everybody in the area. Because I mean, can we make a TIFO? Do they do TIFOs for college football? Maybe like in
a
TIFO.
TIFO.
What is a TIFO?
Okay. I know what it is.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Like, we're European soccer fans. Shout out to, even though me and Jordan are like bitter rivals in the English Premiership, but a TIFO is just like a giant, imagine like a giant flag that one side of the stands holds up. And it's just like an image. Okay. So instead of like the American flag over the, American flag over the thing, it's just like the stand that holds up like an image. And we would love that, like one side of Kinnick stands just hold up punting is winning or live, laugh, punt, or let's
or maybe some flip cards.
We salute the Iowa touchdown Something.
America needs farmers.
Iowa needs farmers, which it pisses off Iowa State.
Perfect.
I love another donation. It says the SoCon Commish, the Southern Conference Commish, is a sicko. So I don't know if the commissioner of the Southern Conference is a sicko.
I would wager so. Yes.
I would do it.
So.
Did you? Speaking of Iowa State, I reposted the nuclear power plant ranking list, and Iowa State people got mad because apparently the original fuel for the first atomic bomb was either refined at Iowa State or Iowa State had something to do with it. And so they were like, well, we should be on here the highest because we helped create the whole damn thing. So people got really weird about that. Once again, I got more mileage off that.
Colorado School of Mines was mad that they were not listed on this Wikipedia page either.
Because it's not their reactor.
It's not their reactor. They don't own it, even though they just maintain it. Like whatever, like they work in it.
I know that Tennessee also, if we're just going to get into the whole, process of creating the nuclear bomb thing, which is very on brand for 2023. But we're in 2024 now. Anyway, yes, Tennessee also had a lot to do with that. I know that they were
Oak Ridge, big part of Oak Ridge.
Exactly, Oak Ridge. Yep.
Yeah,
Commish, you should go to Iowa football homecoming. They're playing Northwestern on homecoming.
I almost made it to the Wrigley Field game this year. I really wanted to go, but I could not pull that off. I really, really wanted to do that, but I was unable to do that one. One more shout out for a donation. I want to say that, this kind of leads into the previous episode. If you just listened yesterday or whenever you're listening to these podcasts, there are 23 flavors of Pop-Tarts, plus 2 more for our brave tart who gave his life so that we can enjoy the memories. Rest in peace, Strawberry.
I don't remember which one of us came up with Every Man a Wild Berry, but that was one of my favorites. Every Man a Wild Berry. So with me tonight, as always, I have Commish, I have Pitt Girl, we have special guests Andrew and Catherine, Arthur on the ones and twos. Pitt Girl, how are you, ma'am?
I didn't even have to yell at you to remember to introduce everybody. So I am doing so well tonight.
I'm learning.
I'm so proud of you.
I am too. Catherine, how are you?
Can't complain. Having a great night.
Catherine is from.
Oh yes,
she's from somewhere.
Catherine does things. Catherine,
she does things in real life.
Yeah, Catherine, what's your real life?
This on the previous podcast.
On the previous podcast, we didn't mention that.
No worries. I am a freelance editor with The Athletic. So editing things, commenting things, doing all that jazz.
She's a Cajun seasoning connoisseur. She prefers Slap Your Mama over Tony Chachere's.
Yes, Slap Your Mama, Ville Platte, Louisiana, the Walker family. Get it right, get it tight.
You said Tony's is too salty, I believe. Is that what you said?
It is. It is too salty. It doesn't have the right ratio of spice to salt. And I think that you just are better off using Slap Your Mama, because if you use Tony's, then to get the proper amount of spice, you're just going to have over-salted food.
Okay, good to know.
So I got to get Slap Your Mama?
Can you make a Tony?
That's the one?
Someone's made a Tony's Bloody Mary, right? Like that's
I have, happened. Yes.
Commish,
yes.
Commish, I'm from New York. I'm not calling it Slap Ya.
Slap you. Forget about it. Slap your mama.
Forget about
it. Slap it over here.
Slap your mama over here.
Like they say in Boston, hey, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Famously, the Yankees.
I'm gonna fucking chop his balls off.
Get some Slap Your Mama on my fries in Yankee Stadium. Come on.
Get the clam chowder. The chow. Go park.
Commish, how are you,
go park your car. No, I'm great. I want to give a shout out to Squirt, the grapefruit soda.
The drink.
The grapefruit soda. I want to give a shout out to them. I've been enjoying some mixed drinks with some Squirt this evening. So
what do you put with Squirt?
Whatever you want.
Tequila, and you make a lazy person's Paloma.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do it that way too. But some darkened rum.
Ooh.
And some grapefruit soda. I feel like I'm in the tropical paradise of something else that is not my closet in San Antonio.
There we go. So this episode, we're going to talk about bowl games basically from the 29th forward, not including the Cheez-It Bowl, which we covered last time. So if you're heavy into Cheez-It Bowl information, we did cover that in the last episode. You'll have to go backwards.
Yeah.
Go to the previous episode. Let's start
I'm
with
doing well, Jordan. Thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah, did I ask you? Fine. Andrew, how are you,
over here?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing fine over here.
How about your Wolverines? You happy?
You happy?
Yeah, very happy.
Way up there in Little
wish I
Neck,
could get
New
to
York.
Houston. Yeah, baby, come on. We made it.
So we're talking about
baby.
some bowl games here
Ty
that
and
are
Nick
like
Saban.
Hey, I hear he just doesn't have the juice anymore.
Leave it to a real coach like Jimmy Harbaugh. Come on.
I want to say that Clemson almost fucked this up. Clemson 38, Kentucky 35 in the Gator Bowl. It's Clemson had to score 28 in the fourth quarter to do this. Catherine, yes.
No. Did Clemson fuck this up?
Kentucky did screw this up.
Yeah.
Like, Clemson tried to, sure. Kentucky did. I want to note real quick. So this game wound up being, as you noted, I think, Jordan, Clemson 38, Kentucky 35. At the end of the third quarter, the score was Kentucky 21, Clemson 10. That is 31 points total out of 73. They scored, between the two of them, 42 points. Am I doing that math right?
That is correct.
In the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And Kentucky, it was a bit of an epic collapse for Kentucky, barring one absolute standout, Berrien Brown, who had the game of his life, rushing and receiving.
He was fired. Am I allowed to talk about gambling on this?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Listeners, I had the under in this one. So
Oh, I forgot to mention the last episode. The Iowa under came in. Iowa got blanked by Tennessee, and the under still came in.
Yeah,
the
under was 36 and a half, and it was 35-0. Yeah, it still came in. Shout out Iowa for
Iowa under stay winning.
Oh my god, it's great. Yeah, this was a perfect way to start this Friday, because this game was just like it was chugging along pretty nicely, close, and then the fourth quarter just went absolutely insane.
It was nuts. It was great.
Someone's fucking edible hit.
Seriously, it's like this edible ain't doing shit, and then the fourth quarter hit. Oh my god! For the love of God,
this edible ain't shit. I'm gonna take another one, and then all of a sudden, oh no!
Boy.
I remember at one.
You guys think Dabo's ever taken an edible?
At one point, huh?
You guys think Dabo's ever taken an edible?
I can't even imagine.
Can you imagine?
Hey,
the only thing edible the only thing edible that he eats is the body of Christ,
body and blood of Christ. Yeah,
and that's the Pop-Tart. But strawberry.
I want to say that, like, watching Dabo afterwards be like, Clemson stock's on the rise, y'all. Y'all should have bought early. Okay, let's calm the fuck down there, Dabo. I think you owe Tyler and Spartanburg a big one for this one, because ever since the Tyler from Spartanburg call, the Clemson season pivoted. That's what they needed. They needed some yokel from Spartanburg. I say yokel in a very kind way here. To be like, right. All of a sudden, that's what I'm thinking. This has
Tyler
to be a plant.
from Spartanburg was an inside job.
It's like like the dude at the Ole Miss athletics department who's
creating stuff for the Penn State game.
The best part was
Link was even worse than Connor Stallions, and that's really impressive, honestly.
Stephen Godfrey, our good friend, said that he said he wants to start a company that just basically does shit like this but hides it better. And you know what? Sign me up. I've got better OPSEC. I wouldn't put in my olemiss.edu.
Why can't we do that? I will use my Lycos email address.
It's whatever obscure.
Google will let you make burners for free. This is not difficult.
Seriously, let's
use your Ole Miss fucking account. Come on, guys.
Open my WordPress to tweet out. I thought Georgia was going to go 7-5 the year that they won their second back-to-back national championship.
Yep.
I mean, we'll do that for you here at the Committee Consulting Firm.
Yeah,
we'll do that for
you. If you want bulletin board material, we'll make it for you.
We will manufacture bulletin board shit for you.
Our Russian troll farms are posting 24 hours a day.
I do want to take a moment, and not to Russian troll farms, of course. We for Clemson, it makes sense. But I do want to just read the second half, like, you know how they do that thing where it's like the result of the games? I don't know.
Yeah.
Read it.
Okay. So this is the second half. touchdown, Kentucky. Clemson punt, Kentucky punt, Clemson touchdown. And here's the fun part, guys. Kentucky fumble, Clemson interception, Kentucky interception, Clemson field goal, Kentucky fumble, Clemson touchdown, Kentucky touchdown, Clemson field goal, Kentucky touchdown, Clemson touchdown, Kentucky interception, end of game. I was at the gym. It was insane. And I'm just like, my arms are pumping. I'm like losing my mind, but I'm trying to be respectful of the other people at the gym. But I just was like, I couldn't believe it. So much was happening all at once. And then I needed to get home for the Sun Bowl. But so much was happening.
What were you doing? What were you doing in the gym? Were you like on the treadmill, like losing your shit?
Elliptical.
Oh, there you go.
I'm running elliptical. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Dabo?
Yeah.
My favorite was the Dabo like Gatorade bath after this game. I'm trying to figure out it. Let me see if we can get the audio of this. Hold on. I want to find this real quick.
While you find that, I just want to let everybody know that I went out for a late lunch with a friend from out of state and missed the fourth quarter of this game. And it was good to see my friend, but also I have regrets.
Did you have the under two?
Does 9-4 make this season more palatable for Clemson fans? Is that better than 8-5 with a loss to Kentucky?
No, they were.
It is better than 8-5 with a loss to Kentucky. Yes.
They were 4-4, and then the Spartanburg call came in. 5-0 since Spartanburg. Tyler, here's the thing. It says basically Dabo says, "I'm thankful for the good Lord." Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
He didn't say this shit part. I just
let me get the audio.
Let's get the audio in here.
He got like 70% of the way there.
And then the
again, not the most questionable thing that's aired on ESPN.
No, definitely not.
We'll because we had nipple. The best part was that no one really reacted to the nipple except for us for a moment.
Everybody was like, "That's fucking Bourbon Street." Like, I mean, it could be like Tuesday afternoon on Bourbon Street, and you.
Here we go. This is Dabo.
For the good Lord and host.
Can't use the language, Pastor.
Do it again. I want more time.
I already closed it. No, I'm done.
Fine, whatever.
I do think that
for the good Lord.
when we're talking about, as far as it being more palatable to Clemson fans, I think that it certainly is more palatable than the alternative, which is not winning the bowl game.
Yeah, right.
I do still think that Clemson, I'll be curious to see what their offseason looks like, because I don't necessarily think that they are set up in such a way that it's a guarantee that they won't be exactly where they are today this time next year. But we'll cross the bridge when we get to it, I guess.
Again, this is
Bridge, Rubicon, same thing.
This is Catherine. She's serious. She's from the Athletic. She's got like real knowledge compared to us Sicko Committee fans, where we're just on the outside looking in, even though we may have some hot take.
Whatever. No, hey, you are an insider now.
I am. I went to the Alamo Bowl.
You were in there. You were in press row.
No.
Alamo Bowl.
Pep talk for Commish.
Guys, I googled Clemson's schedule for this year.
2024. What we got?
They're playing Georgia, right?
They are opening versus Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're playing Notre Dame, right?
This is only giving me non-con. Hang on.
So.
Is this still in the ACC?
That is non-con. Notre Dame, famously independent.
So independent.
Or that's what they want you to think.
Oh, the Irish.
Come at me, join a conference.
He clicks buttons, and this website's not loading.
So they got Georgia, App State.
Oh no,
Citadel.
Okay.
The Citadel University.
Matt got his wish. Another team
South Carolina.
from the Carolinas is playing App State.
So they got this is their schedule. Again, the ACC is throwing me the fuck off already. NC State, Stanford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
In Clemson. So they got Virginia.
Oh no.
I want to see the tree run.
The tree. Oh my God.
Running down the hill.
Yes.
Yes.
Stanford, I'm touching your rock. I'm touching your rock.
He's definitely going to steal
it. Definitely.
Perfect.
Virginia, Florida, at Florida State, at Pitt, at Virginia Tech, which may be spicy unexpectedly, and then at Wake.
That'll be good.
So, yeah, that should be a fun
Notre
schedule.
Dame.
I can see them being right back where they are, or maybe a little bit above water or below. Who knows?
So then their next game was the Sun Bowl. Notre Dame 40, Oregon State 8. This was one of the most jumping Sun Bowls I've seen in a long ass time. It was packed the fuck out. When they said they sold it out, I was like, okay, that's awesome. But they sold it out.
Yeah.
I have not seen the Sun Bowl that crowded in a long time. And the atmosphere was great. Like CBS went all out to get the beauty shots. They had all these like low camera angles where you could see the sun over Hand Job Hill. It was gorgeous. Like,
wait, what?
Oh my!
Hand Job Hill.
That's the hill's name.
It's the hill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
cool.
so
that was
like what, like episode 2 of Basab for that, Dad?
Yeah.
Grish, how old are you?
27.
Okay, so probably not aware. So there was a game where Texas went to El Paso to play UTEP, right?
Yes.
And then so the UTEP stadium was very, very packed. And then the Sun Bowl is built into the mountains, right?
Yeah,
it's
right
drilled like right into the mountain, right on that.
Basically.
Yeah. So there were some UTEP fans that were sitting on the mountains, and when they panned out to show the fans, there was one lady infamously I can't even say it right. I'm done. I can't even say infamously. Jesus Christ. All right, too much dark rum. But giving somebody an HJ over the shorts tug job on one of the hills. And so yes, it became known as Hand Job Hill. So yes.
Wow.
You could probably find that video on YouTube, which it may not even be. It may not even be on YouTube anymore. It may be on that site.
This video has been removed for violating YouTube's policy on nudity and sexual content.
There's a joke about Longhorns in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, it's beautiful. It's like this great stadium, great scene. This is the second. This bowl game was started the same year as the Sugar and the Orange, and that it does not get caught in the same breath as them is a crime, because this is one of the oldest ones. It is one of the great ones.
I think there's a version of the video that's on YouTube.
There you go.
It's there.
I just found it.
Okay,
yes,
well,
it is called Digging for Gold on the Mountainside.
Yep.
The Alamo Bowl is a majestic bowl. There are mountains. It is beautiful.
Wait, not the Alamo Bowl.
The Sun Bowl.
The Sun Bowl.
Oh, hell, the Sun Bowl. Oh,
yes, I got you.
Alamo.
The best part is that
Sun
they
Bowl
sprinkled it with the telestrator.
It's majestic, and it should be treated with more reverence than it is.
Yes.
Especially, and I just think that, like, when we think about what bowls used to be, right? Because that has been such a conversation. I don't know what they used to be, because frankly, like, Leonard Fournette opted out when I was in college, and like even before that point in time, I think that the bowls were like, they were not what they were in their heyday, right?
Right.
But you think about the bowl as sort of like an escape, a vacation, like going to a new locale. The city of El Paso is beautiful. It has so much culture. It has so much history. And it is just in this unbelievable setting. And you can absolutely imagine why, like, it is one of the best locations for a bowl game. Like, I love the Sugar Bowl. I love New Orleans as a city, up to a point. But when I think about, like, where would I want to go, being outside, looking at this, like, crazy vista around you and watching, Notre Dame, not to be a nerd about it, but, like, Notre Dame is a classic football
absolutely.
team. Like, it fits for them to be there. It felt like watching that game, like, oh, man, this is such a like, almost a fun throwback in a way. And it was if you're a Notre Dame fan, it was a rip-roaring game. If you're an Oregon State fan or really just kind of a fan of, like, the plucky Pac-2, it really sucked, because that wasn't the Oregon State that we saw all year. Mm-mm. And they were just kind of, like, crushed.
Oregon State was a shell of themselves. They lost their coach. They lost their OC. Their head coach is
quarterback.
They lost a quarterback. They lost. They lost two quarterbacks. Like,
that's right.
They lost like the prize quarterback transferred where the new coach went to Michigan State. Then they had Gil Branson, which was their backup QB, I think in 2022. So like this was not an ideal finish for Oregon State, but we salute the Beavers because really. They probably had the best score graphic of all year. Really, it was like Notre Dame, too much. Yeah, like Oregon State, not enough.
Not so much.
Not so much. I think what it was. Yeah. It was amazing. And it was 40-8, and Notre Dame was pretty. It was kind of close. At halftime, it was 14-0. Like Oregon State couldn't get anything going whatsoever. But really, I salute them for scoring, and they really tried a good bit. But Notre Dame was just the better team on the day. Marcus Freeman got the Frosted Flake bag dumped on him. I feel like they needed to put more. It was like maybe like one family size box.
Yeah,
like you needed more. I need like when they dumped it on McElwain.
Milk.
When they dumped that on McElwain like 2 or 3 years ago, when Jim McElwain of Central Michigan went to the Sun Bowl in like 2021, that was like an epic like sugar rainbow of that. And it just feels like there was like they didn't put enough cereal in the Gatorade container. I'm like, let's go to Costco. Let's go to Sam's Club, wherever you go. And let's get like the giant containers and like 5 or 6 of them, and let's go more Frosted Flakes, all over the coach, and throw some milk in there. Why the hell not?
Yeah, because one thing that was notable, in fact, was that after the bath, it was fun because it was Frosted Flakes dust and the like remaining sugar just kind of coated Marcus Freeman. And that was a fun, just like, picture. That was a fun picture. But I agree, it could have been more. And I do think that adding milk would make a lot of sense because it just, after all, we are trying to give the effect of a quote-unquote bath.
Yeah.
A liquid is helpful in this scenario.
For sure.
So yeah, I think add milk. And it can be skim milk. You can cheap out if you want to. But add in a liquid.
They did have the coolest touchdown. They got a touchdown, and then they just ran like a 372-pound lineman for a 2-point conversion. Even though you lost 40-8, you scored like the coolest 2-point conversion you could possibly.
And that was Bolagami.
That was Bolagami. That's right.
Later that day, or at the same time, actually, we had the Liberty Bowl. Memphis 36, Iowa State 26. Memphis gets the win as I think they were the away team. They were the away team.
Okay,
so ESPN has it listed wrong. But Memphis was the away team, I believe, in their own home stadium, which I love. I love having to go play your bowl game. We're actually working on something where we're trying to figure out.
I'm almost done with it, honestly, on the Substack. Okay. I'm working on figuring out the home field bowl game records and who has played the most bowl games.
It's got to be New Mexico.
In their own.
I was going to guess Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl.
I would. Hawaii, but it depends if you count all the Hawaii bowls as one bowl because they've been very clear that they are all individual con jobs and not the same.
So there are caveats. They have to be active bowls. What I'm counting. So in order to count them, so they are. What did you say? Who said New Mexico?
I said New Mexico.
In the New Mexico Bowl, you feel like
they've been there several times.
So
not as much as Hawaii.
So basically, what I'm doing on the Substack, which this is kind of like an ad read right now on the Substack, I am doing this. I'll probably have it out Thursday, I would think, maybe Friday at the latest. But I am going through the home field bowl games, which is basically a team that plays a bowl game on their home field. So they are in the bowl game. That takes.
I was going to say UCLA at the Rose Bowl, but no, they don't play in the Rose Bowl ever.
No.
Oh, Commission's giving me a look. Maybe I'm wrong here.
There may be a caveat thrown there. But so keep in mind, it's got to be their home stadium. It's got to be their home stadium at the time of the bowl game. So there's a bunch of caveats. There are 2 schools that are tied for the top of this. 2.
Okay.
And it's weird. I was trying to figure out if there's a home field advantage in this situation, but there doesn't appear to be too much of one, which is strange, which is great.
Okay.
The Memphis thing here in their home field bowl game, which I'll give you the caveat for Memphis. If you listen to this and you read the Substack, I'm sorry to spoil this for you, but Memphis has done this twice in the Liberty Bowl, where they've had a home Liberty Bowl, and guess who they played in the Liberty Bowl? Both times.
Iowa State again?
It's Iowa State. Iowa State. Both freaking times. Both times. Weird. So it's weird that they hosted themselves and they were like, okay, Iowa State is the other team. So that's happened twice. And that happened this game for this one, which there was one Iowa State fan. Anytime Iowa State did something great, it was the sight line. It was just as I think Pitt Girl noted, the Judd Nelson fist from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Don't you forget about me.
The Arkansas hat memorial guy.
The Arkansas hat
from last year's.
People were just like, that's horrible camera. The camera's got to do better. I'm like, no, this is the Liberty Bowl.
That's just how Liberty Bowl is.
It's all Liberty Bowl.
Okay.
If I ever visit the Liberty Bowl, like my hands are gonna be waving like I'm some inflatable in front of a car dealer.
What's these signs that put Post-it notes on the back of your hands?
What was that? Was it goldenpalace.com? All the streakers did that for a while. Put it on the back of your shirt. So every time you stand up, it's advertising your Venmo. Put your Venmo on the back of your
QR codes with the Discord on them or something. Like,
put your Venmo on the back of your hat or whatever.
I'm imagining a QR code tattoo, like just right on the back of your hand.
Perfect. That sounds very painful.
And then on this day, guys, we had this big ass break, and then everyone was like, "It's Cotton Bowl time! Yeah, let's do this thing." And then we got to watch World War I reenactment.
Hold on. We didn't even mention that Memphis won the Liberty Bowl.
I said that.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I mean,
but I want to talk about Mizzou, Ohio State.
You do it. Talk about Mizzou, Ohio State. Let's talk about it.
Because this game,
let's talk about it.
Turned into trench warfare. Ohio State gets a field goal in the first quarter, and then nothing for a while.
Hey.
Everything just stops.
Look, this is my favorite.
Welcome to Verdun.
No.
Yeah,
as the Sicko Committee Commish, this is my favorite type of game. You have like big brand names. You have Ohio State.
Mizzou, big brand name
in a New Year's 6 bowl game.
SEC Power Mizzou.
SEC Power Mizzou. They won the SEC East like twice, so don't give them that.
Darn tootin'.
That's right. So you have these giant New Year's 6 bowl games, and there's like big fanfare. Let's watch this. It's the Cotton Bowl. It's in Jerry World.
Hey, we just had a Cotton Bowl where teams scored 1,000 points last year.
Right.
Surely we'll get the same kind of Cotton Bowl.
It's going to be the same.
Clearly, we used the whole points allocation last year.
The best thing.
Because wasn't that game in 2023?
It's the same year.
Yeah.
This is the same year.
This points allocation got spent.
This is my favorite type of Sicko's game, where it's the unexpected Sicko's game, where it just becomes one, and we get tagged to ever live in hell that, oh my God, this is a Sicko's game. Oh my God, the Cotton Bowl. It is such a Sicko's game. It is 3-0 at halftime. I mean, like Ohio State's on like
everyone starts pulling out the numbers. Ohio State ended up going 2 for 15 on third downs, guys.
It is
like nightmare game.
It is. Oh my God. And like there was things that could have happened. Like we wanted to see Mevis try like a 65-yard field goal before halftime, but then Mizzou fucked it up, and they got to delay a game. It was just like, come on, man.
They should have let him take it from 70.
I really
they should have.
Fuck it. Come on, drink.
If Ohio State doesn't score that field goal, it's an immaculate half.
It is. That was the only
half.
thing that stopped the Cotton Bowl from being an immaculate half, which is basically a half with nothing but punts on every single drive.
No fumbles, no
interceptions. It's just nothing.
No downs.
But punts.
It's just punts.
Just punts.
So I was off. I was off during this game, but The Athletic does sort of like a discussion tab during the game, right? As kind of like an alternative to Twitter. Like it's fun as long as people don't get crazy. We were just talking hockey. We were talking about hockey scores. We were checking in on various hockey games. We were like, how many NHL games are actually outscoring this game, which was very enjoyable. And shout out to the Ohio State people because they were really great sports. They were really great sports about it. It was interesting because Missouri has had such a fantastic year. And of course, shout out to Cody Schrader. Yeah. One of the best stories of the season. Former walk-on, not just a walk-on, but like a walk-on who then like went D2, crushed it, not only as a running back, but as a linebacker, went into the transfer portal and just like had like no offers. Like no one was reaching out to him, no one like whatever. And so he just went to Mizzou as a walk-on to like try and earn a scholarship. And then he turned into the SEC's leading rusher and like just had an amazing year. And like it was such a delight to watch. And it was really fun to watch Missouri, because what is fun about these bowl games still is whenever you're watching a team reach something, this is actually like a big deal. And that still happens because college football ebbs and flows. And like, for example, Virginia Tech was so excited about their bowl game. Yep. Missouri was so excited about their bowl game. We're going to talk about Ole Miss. They were excited for their first ever 11-win season.
Arizona and Alabama.
Arizona,
oh,
God. In the pouring rain at the Military Bowl. They were so excited about that bowl.
Are you kidding me? Like Arizona, I oh my God, I would love to see a Mizzou Arizona game like next week.
That'd be so much fun. Give me
Mizzou Arizona right now. I would love to see both of them because, I mean, great uniform matchup to begin with.
Oh yes,
perfect. Like I mean, you know the black block M of Mizzou, which they had to do that for against Ohio State, which was beautiful.
Just by the way, giving Ohio State nightmares,
shit, which is like, and then they tweeted the meme, but that block M,
but in that same night,
oh my God,
Michigan basketball loses the bye game to Mercer.
No,
McNeese, which is another M
McNeese. Will Wade rides again, everybody.
Shout out to Lake Charles and McNeese.
God.
I've been to McNeese like so many different times in Lake Charles, which is God, there was like a horrible motel called the Inn on the Bayou that we stayed in for
God.
And it was like seriously, it was an inn right on the freaking bayou. And it was just I don't even know if it's still there. But it's off of like Interstate 210 in Lake Charles, and it's really close to McNeese. But we went there for like ULM for like intramural. We won like the ULM intramural championships like 2 years in a row. We had to go to like McNeese 2 years in a row. It was gross. It was like 30 and it was rainy and it was like a flag football championship, whatever. But it was a mess. But shout out to McNeese for beating Michigan. That was beautiful. I don't know how Juwan Howard's doing. How is he doing out there in Michigan, Grish?
Still employed.
I thought he got in a fight with somebody.
Sometimes.
Yeah, there was a whole thing with the trainer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was not good. It's not going well.
Not going well.
Can I say one more thing about Missouri to redeem myself?
Back to Mizzou.
The best thing about it, I think Catherine was appealing to this, but it's guys from Missouri, like Luther Burton Stade, the quarterback. He really wanted to be a Missouri. All he wanted to do was be a Missouri Tiger. What's his name? Brady Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, like,
he had the great
last year, like
red spot. That was fun.
They were losing to Wake Forest in the Gasparilla Bowl, and I think it was Luther Burden. It was like 4th and like 30 something, and he caught the pass, and his knee was down, but he gave his entire body on like a 4th and 25 or something like that, and it was like a only gain of like 5 yards because his knee was down when he caught it, and he wanted to stay and be a part of the Mizzou thing. To see them do that this year was fantastic for Mizzou, which, I mean, that's something that we, like, at the committee, it's kind of like we're like proud parents, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, we see a team that is a sickos team, that is a team that's just like, okay, they keep messing up, they're very inconsistent, or they turn the ball over a lot. They just can't get anything correct, or like their coach is on the hot seat, but somehow he survives. Or their coach is a great quote where he mentions Star Wars stuff and he trolls Dan Mullen. But there's certain things that Coach Drink does and Mizzou does, to see them like bump up like that. This is kind of what the committee's like creed is like, we're showing you the great stories like that. And Mizzou in Arizona, same level. Like, they came from like really, really low spots, and they bumped up this year. And this is what I'm so happy for Mizzou to win this game. I know Ohio State was not at full power. I know they had to use like a 4th-string QB, I think. 4th-string freshman.
Whatever.
3rd-string, whatever.
Freshman, but third string. Not to. This is so not to like be like, oh,
No.
That's not a problem. That is a huge problem, but at the end of the day, like, it doesn't take anything away from what Missouri accomplished, because the fact of the matter is that each of those receivers who was still playing, even though Marvin Harrison wasn't, was either a 5-star or probably a top 100 4-star recruit.
Yeah.
And like, the fact is that even then, you're talking about guys like Chris Abrams-Drain, who is one of the most underrated but best cornerbacks in the SEC and probably in the country. It was an ugly game. I had a lot of fun. It felt like an old school defense, because the defense of Ohio State's defense, Missouri, not exactly chumps when it comes to offense, by the way.
Right.
Like, Ohio State's defensive line, my goodness, just harassing Brady Cook. It was very fun after the game. You saw Brady Cook and Jack Sawyer like have a moment, and Brady Cook is clearly telling Jack Sawyer like, "Man, you were really getting after me." Because, it was really great. But shout out to Mizzou, great job, and they're getting, I think the number 5 overall player is from Missouri, David Nwaneri, who is an edge who's going to be really great for them. So Drink's got something going there,
Drink has got something brewing in Columbia, Missouri. I mean, really. I love these games where, again, like I said it previously, like when you get a game that you don't expect it to be a sickos game, and then all of a sudden we get tagged into it, and we're like, hey, we're here, we're gonna upgrade it from, I don't know if we had it that advisory or
I don't remember.
watch, or we're gonna bump it up to a warning because it's 3-0 at halftime. And nobody, just can't stop punting. And the Mizzou didn't even score a touchdown until the 4th quarter. So it's still 3-0 after 3 quarters, which was ridiculous. And then, I mean, it was so sickos that we had Ohio State fans wanting to fight us in our mentions.
Oh yeah, Ohio State fans were not nearly as chipper about it.
That's just a typical Friday night.
Oh my
That's
God.
Just typical Friday night.
Like, there was one, I don't know who tweeted that says like, it was just like a gif of somebody like doing the chef kiss. It's like searching the Ryan Day trending topic, and it was like that. And then like some Ohio State fan was like, whatever, you want to fight? Wait, where you at, sickos? Let's go.
You mean to tell me that the Ohio State fans were mad online?
Imagine that.
Never.
No, I cannot believe it, but it's just fun. And it's like, it was kind of innocent. And it was just, there was like 3 replies from the same person. It was just like, hey, let's go. You want to
mad, man.
You want to fight, sickos? You want to fight? Let's go, sickos. Meet me in Temecula.
Yes.
But honestly, on the Ryan Day thing, what are we doing? And they're not going after a transfer quarterback. Devin Brown seems decent.
Don't you have like Will Howard from Kansas State?
There's a chance that
is he not coming? Is Eric guy unclear?
Will Howard is really the last.
Lost Catherine. We'll get her back.
Lost Catherine.
We lost
Come back,
Catherine
Catherine.
and her actual knowledge. But Yeah, the rumor is Will Howard.
Ohio State's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're going to be.
I know no one weeps for Ohio State.
Yeah,
so.
Ryan Day is actually a pretty good coach, guys.
I mean, if you fire him, then you have like, what are you going to get?
Right.
Like, is it going to be beating, winning those 2 games you need, or 1 game a year more you need better?
Like who?
Do not.
You
Or
really
you
have to
put-
hire like Dan Lanning if you're going to fire Ryan.
Get it? Like
Right. Do not become Scarlet and Gray Auburn, guys.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh God!
You don't want
Oh God!
You don't want a Bo Pelini situation on your hands. You really
I do
don't.
think it is interesting in that my first thought when the question is, well, who do you replace Ryan Day is Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, who has been fantastic. He was also a really great defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Went from OSU to OSU. Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I think that for me, the question isn't whether Ryan Day would be fired from Ohio State. The question is whether Ryan Day leaves and goes to the NFL, a place where he doesn't have to recruit, a place where personnel decisions aren't made by him. He just takes the players that are given to him and then he executes the offense he would want to execute.
Holy crap. Wait. What? Fucking Ryan Day, San Diego Chargers. Everybody's giving Harbaugh Chargers. I can kind of see Ryan Day, San Diego Supercharger.
Also, I'm going to say fuck Jim Knowles. He coached at Cornell for about 5 years. And I watched that team absolutely torch our guys. They weren't even very good, but they always had our number for some reason. So fuck Jim Knowles, just to say that.
God, that's that Dartmouth hate.
Yes.
God, I love this shit.
We love
Go to
Ivy
hell.
League rage.
Ivy League rage.
He went to Cornell. Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Old
Fair
man
enough,
Ezra.
man.
Old man Ezra had a farm. Yeah. No one knows the Old Man Ezra song.
No, but I do want to say, Jordan, that our wide receivers coach, who was our co-offensive coordinator for the bowl that we're going to talk about later, the Reliaquest, formerly Outback Bowl, Cortez Hankton started his coaching career at Dartmouth, and that is always like a really like a sign of, oh, this guy is like a really sharp mind, not because it's Ivy League, but because obviously y'all had such a great coach. Y'all had a really good like kind of incubator kind of process for really great coaches. So shout out Dartmouth. Yeah.
That coaching tree is very strong.
The Buddy Tevens
Like,
Yeah, and to hell with Cornell, apparently.
Yeah. And no, fuck Cornell.
Cornell, the most hateable Ivy League school, apparently.
Look, not to get too elitist here, but they take an awful lot of people. I'm just saying.
I'm
there's like 10,000 people there.
Look.
10,000 people at Cornell.
I'm going to say Andy from The Office sucks.
I know. Also, Dartmouth acapella way better.
Jordan's just hammering on the fact that they have a SUNY part of Cornell. He's like, oh, public?
Yeah, right? See?
Technically, the vet school is public.
I know.
Get it out of my sight.
Get the fuck out of here. Their motto isn't even in fucking Latin, okay?
Damn.
Their motto is
God forbid someone can understand it.
Their motto's in English.
God.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
Okay,
what are we here to do? What are we here to do? Educate the public?
Speaking of elite,
Fine, yeah.
Speaking of elite institutions of higher learning, Mississippi.
So this is funny because this is on the 30th, and they have to put the New Year's Six Bowls on ESPN.
Look,
Peach
hold
Bowl
on.
goes on ESPN.
So December 30th, we got 3 really important birthdays, right? We got Tiger Woods, LeBron James, and the Commish's father.
There we go.
That's right. December 30th. Shout out.
So they've got to put this game. They've got to put the Music City Bowl on ABC. So the world got to watch Maryland palindrome Auburn 31-13.
My God. Thank you, Terps.
Can we please get this motherfucker fired already?
God,
I know.
Where's the
got palindrome by Maryland?
Because after the game, what did he say? After the game, what did he say? He said,
"It wasn't even telling.
I wasn't that involved in the offensive planning. It wasn't very good. I was too busy recruiting."
I'm Hugh Freeze. I'm not busy planning for bowl games. I'm busy recruiting.
Hugh, you know that bad men are legal for everybody now, right?
And that is the problem.
Getting dominated by Gus Edwards.
Yeah. No. Okay. So, but
sometimes I wish I could just get all the Auburn boosters in a room and yell at them for a while. It wouldn't accomplish anything, but it would make me feel better.
I don't like that that all the Auburn boosters in a room doesn't sound fun.
No.
If Tim Cook's there, at least it might be entertaining. But I
Tim
think
Apple
that
fix this.
Tim
yeah,
Apple fix this.
I just. But that to me is the problem with the Hugh Freeze hire, and I'm sure it's been covered many a time, many a place, whatever. It has driven me absolutely bonkers that there's a segment of sort of like, not to say the college football media, like whatever, but it is, that like just kind of accepted at face value. Well, Hugh Freeze has been great in the SEC. Hugh Freeze has a sub 500 record. I'd have to check and see if he was not a great coach in the SEC, even when he did have those benefits. This was a retread hire. Oh, and by the way, his offensive schemes, which were at the time like sort of cutting edge at least, everyone's already caught up. Everyone's progressed beyond him. They lost to New Mexico State, the same team he lost to the year before at Liberty.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's go a year before that.
Oh.
Hugh Freeze lost to ULM as a 32-point favorite.
Right.
Let's not forget that. And then he lost in New Mexico State, blown the fuck out. And then he lost again, blown the fuck out by New Mexico State. 2 years in a row. Shout out to
Derek
the Aggies.
Hill owns Hugh Freeze.
Let's just talk about this too, by the way. We were just talking about Ohio State and their quarterback situation. Peyton Thorne's coming back. Like, what?
That's a threat.
What?
That's a threat.
Anyway, Auburn got their butts kicked by Maryland, and good for them. And it was a Maryland without Talia Tagovailoa. And
yes,
like,
that's the best part. September Maryland is scary as shit. December Maryland scary as shit.
I mean, seriously, like Maryland. I think I posted the GIF of like the old Looney Tunes where the turtle had the rockets in its back, and then it was 21-0. I was like, what the fuck, Maryland? Thank you so much. I'm glad. I'm glad Maryland did this shit because we got to bevel the Maryland flag again,
which I love.
I mean, it's just beautiful, and we got the bevel, Fear the Turtle. The Terps.
Not Testudo. No.
Yeah,
Testudo got beveled the fuck.
That's my mortal enemy. That's my mortal enemy.
I'm going to list 7 teams, and if you know the answer to this, don't say it. But I'm going to list 7 teams. I want you to tell me what they have in common. This is Western Kentucky, Air Force, Georgia, Fresno State, Maryland, Minnesota, and Texas Tech. I'll say them again. Western Kentucky, Air Force, Georgia, Fresno State, Maryland, Minnesota, Texas Tech. Right? No clue.
No, I know, but I'm not.
Every one of these teams has won their last 3 bowl games.
Wow. It's a great list.
Isn't that? This is Western Kentucky put this out today, and it is a great list because December Minnesota and December Maryland, they're going to perform. Who knew?
I like how Maryland is Maryland like a weird hibernator. Like they just get off to a good start, and then it's like fuck it, October, November, whatever. December, we're
They're
back.
The most 7-5 team on the planet.
Yeah,
like NC State is your classic, always like 8-4, 9-4 team. Maryland is the automatic 7-5 Big Ten team that wins their bowl game, like going away, and it makes you have hope for next year. And then they go 5-0 in September, and you're like, is it going to be different? No,
never.
At least they don't have to play Michigan and Ohio State.
Their flag rocks, though. I love the Maryland flag. It kicks ass.
So then working on a theory that Maryland is Big Ten Kentucky.
I can see it. You know, it's funny.
They're never going to fire Mike Loxley. No. He's got a good thing.
Big Ten Kentucky and Maryland, there is a Bear Bryant connection there. So if you go back to the 1950s, there is a connection between Maryland and Kentucky.
So do we talk about what Ole Miss did to Penn State?
Oh, God, please. Let's do.
Yeah. Ole Miss just liked to run all over them. That was great. Ole Miss once again looks like a lot of fun. And then
Jackson Dart kind of went off.
He went off. And the best part was, as soon as this game was over, what does Lane Kiffin do? Lane Kiffin's taking pictures in the Bahamas. He's done. He's not in this country for the playoffs. I don't want to be here.
Besides taking picture of his 38-25 wife or whatever, or is his girlfriend, fiance? I have no idea.
I think they're married now.
Okay,
wife,
sure.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But like
Lane Kiffin, wife guy.
Lane Kiffin, wife guy, taking TikToks in the Bahamas with his daughter that is I don't know.
What school
I
did she go
can't
to?
judge.
What school did she-
I can't even judge. I don't know. Like college football coaches are a completely different breed, a different animal, and it's just I can't like it's your life, whatever. But like it is just like Penn State. They had a lot of opt outs. I'll give you that. There's always a lot of opt outs or whatever.
Sure.
But I mean, they had their offense.
Not on offense. It's not on offense.
Not on
Just the left
offense.
tackle.
They couldn't throw it deep. Which
that was
they did, and then that one lady was like, "What the fuck was that?" But
that was the best
Was
thing I've
just
seen.
picked
all
off.
But he got picked
horribly.
off.
I was watching Pitt basketball lose to Syracuse, and then I took a nap through the second half of this game, and so the only thing I saw was the Ole Miss guy dunking after he got a turnover, which, excuse you, that's Pitt's bit, but I appreciate the Penn State backboard, and that GIF. And that GIF is an all-timer.
That's all you needed to see. It's about all you needed to see.
Both teams.
I was going to say, I have 2 points real quick. So first of all, shout out to my guy, Justin Williams of The Athletic, who interviewed the woman during the game and had the story
down there.
posted.
Yes.
And had the story posted before the game even ended. I was amazed.
Wow.
I was astounded. It was incredible. But point number 2, not only did Penn State lose to Ole Miss generally, they specifically lost to the 2 Cadens of Ole Miss. Caden Prescorn, the tight end, who had a phenomenal game, and Caden Davis, the kicker. Those 2 players combined for 27 points, which also outscored Penn State. And that was just something that I found delightful.
That's a great stat.
Both teams had over 500 yards. Like, this was just, if you like yards, just woo, doing it.
I know we mentioned it earlier, but like it was the Ole Miss person that was actually specifically tweeting about the Ole Miss tight end.
Yeah.
In like a We Are like Penn State fake account that was just created. And the Penn State people figured this out so fast. They're like, this is some bullshit because Lane Kiffin is tweeting this account was just created. And Lane, after the game, was like, yeah, I realized it was the staffer said it was fake, and I retweeted it.
And he goes, "What? Like, wasn't it fucking funny?
Wasn't it funny? It was great. It was just like, I feel like, I don't know if it worked or whatever, but it was ridiculous. Shout out for the Ole Miss.
I really think Russian troll farm is what we need to expand into.
I just
explain.
Love the mental image of us like training and onboarding Russian trolls.
Okay.
And trying to explain the lore that they need to know to troll effectively.
Russian troll farms. Let's talk about Kenny Pickett and being the Steelers quarterback and being a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback along with a Pitt fandom. Let's
Speaking of fucking Russian troll farms, Jesus Christ.
I know I wanted to go over there for you, Pitt Girl. Like I know she's just done right now.
I am begging 93.7 the fan to get off Twitter and stop like rage baiting. Like just all of you. Stop. Get off Twitter.
It's weird because like
stay on the radio where you belong.
On Twitter, if you get a blue check now and you rage bait and get a bunch of interactions, you get paid for it.
Right, that's the problem.
Which is the problem?
No. Pittsburgh professional sports media has been like this for years.
Well, yeah, of course. So now they're getting paid for it on top of that. But like they're like Kenny doesn't want to be a backup quarterback. No, it's ridiculous. Shout out to Alex McDaniel and Bucky Perkins.
Yes.
Big fans. Shout out to Bucky Perkins, the Saints fan from Shreveport, having to sit and watch his beloved Ole Miss Rebels with his butt in a Falcon seat in the Mercedes-Benz Falcons butthole dome. But whatever.
It does look like a butthole.
It does. It does. That's right. It's an open butthole when they expand.
When the butthole is open. Yes.
When the butthole is open. That is correct.
As opposed to a closed. I'm not going to.
Before we go into our next game, I want to plug our Patreon.
You want to plug the butthole?
You want to plug the butthole for $5? You can plug the butthole. $5 a month. You can plug it up.
Oh boy!
My dad listens to this podcast.
Oh my god!
There we go.
Hello, Pitt Girl's dad.
Hey, Pitt Girl's dad.
Take some Imodium AD.
$5 a month, you can join us in our Discord where we talk about things like this and also talk about what it would be like to watch Jim Harbaugh eat a peanut butter sandwich and discuss how gross that might be. And
He would totally drink that shit with milk, wouldn't he?
Of course, but like the thing
yeah.
is, I think that we decided that he eats smooth peanut butter because crunchy would involve too much extra chewing, and I assume that he eats food like people just consume nutrients like a vacuum.
Oh, I think he'd want the grit.
Oh, wants a little grit. Oh, good point. He wants to work at his food.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if chicken is well, I mean, I now he's moved past chicken.
He walked back to chicken. I know.
No,
right.
he
but
keeps chicken.
he
He has a
wouldn't be
chicken
afraid
coop.
of peanut butter.
That's true.
Crunchy peanut butter, builds jaw muscles.
So join us for $5 a month, and you can talk about these things with us. It's great. Oh, go to our merch store at sickoscommittee.org. Soon we will have a Ladies is Sickos shirt as well.
Ladies is Sickos too.
If you is a ladies sicko.
I mean, eventually we're gonna link the ULM mention sticker to like a ULM NIL program. So buy some of that too. Once we link
we also have our message board. We also listen to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They've been having a great couple of days. Go to YouTube, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Substack. And as always, if you love the comfiest, softest collegiate apparel that's officially licensed, like my Tulane hoodie that I basically live in now.
Look, I got a Wayne State.
There we go.
State shirt on right now.
I like the drop shadow on the script.
It is it is awesome. I would love to bevel this Wayne State.
Shout out Detroit. Shout out the Pistons.
Shout out to the Pistons for ending that losing
shout out
streak.
Wingstop.
Shout out Wingstop.
If it is your first order, for home field, use offer code yes, yes. That's 3 ha's for 15% off your first order.
It's really good enunciation, Jordan.
15. Okay, so the Orange Bowl happened, and we can just draw a little chalk outline around Florida State.
Here lies Florida State.
So these two things can be true. That Florida State got their asses handed to them in this game, and they still probably deserve to be in the college football playoff.
Yes.
Well, and that this was not a reflection on what they would have looked like in the college football playoff. Again, notably, they were playing Brock Glenn, who was their third string quarterback because Tate Rodemaker had decided to enter the transfer portal. When you are thinking about Florida State in a hypothetical college football playoff, you have to imagine a Florida State, first of all, with everybody on defense.
With their offensive line, yeah.
Yes, and specifically think about a Tate Rodemaker who might not be great, but who would have had a month of reps with Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, some of the best receivers in the country, to build up a rapport and to get better and to just learn the playbook better over the course of a month. It's a lot of time, and you can make a substantial improvement over the course of that period of time, and we have seen that in the playoff in a bunch of different scenarios. And so agreed, and apologies for cutting in on you, Jordan, but yes, just to specify,
no, I mean,
Florida State.
There were a lot of smooth brains out there that were just and some of it was disingenuous and not in good faith, and I get that. And I didn't interact with any of it because it's useless.
But as a committee, it was just like we're at the point where like we're not going to tweet about it.
No,
we're not going to do it.
What am I going to add to this?
What am I going to add to this discourse? We're not built for that. We're not. This is not our purpose. Our purpose is to bring catharsis, and it's just like no. Our purpose is to celebrate the fun stuff. I mean,
what catharsis could we possibly bring to Florida State?
It's
during
just like
hours.
They were already done when they got left out of the playoff. So anything that happened after that, it doesn't matter to them. They're done. Katie got to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and that's why I got her credentialed to ease her pain from missing the playoff as a Florida State fan. So, I mean, really, in this situation, like whatever happened in this game, I would treat this game like Georgia, almost like SoCon Saturday. Really, honestly, I would
Pitt
do
Girl,
that.
Pitt Girl, as an ACC fan, how do you feel about this?
So, I was, and I still am sympathetic to Florida State's players and its fans who are not insane online, like Katie, for getting objectively screwed out of the playoff. I am not sympathetic to Florida State, the university, for immediately being like, you know whose fault this is? The ACC. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And I am also particularly unsympathetic to the insane Florida State fans, sorry, Florida fans, who started showing up in my mentions after I voiced a variant of this opinion on Twitter before this game even happened. Null Twitter, log off. Touch grass.
Touch grass.
Do something other than talk about the Knolls. Please.
Impossible.
Yeah. Keep private equity out of college football. Number one.
Yes.
God, don't.
Also, keep the Saudi investment fund or whatever out of college football.
No Qatari money, please.
And number 3, and I'm just gonna say this real quick. We have a Michigan fan here. I read the briefing and the filings that were made on behalf of Jim Harbaugh and the University of Michigan in state court in Michigan. And then I also had to read, obviously months later, the Florida State filings that were filed in the state court of Florida State Court.
I'm glad our legal scholar is here. This is good.
Oh, I lie. It's actually federal district court. But anyway, the point is, the briefings are so bad in comparison to the Michigan ones. They're not nearly as well crafted. Neither of them had
spelling errors.
Yeah, but there were some in the I can point you to the Michigan ones too. That is not something we have to talk about. But neither had very sound arguments in my opinion. But the Michigan one was certainly better crafted.
Billable
Just
hours.
as a final shot across the bow.
Billable hours undefeated.
I would like to take one moment also because I think we forgot to talk about this when it happened. Can we take a second to talk about the fact that the ACC keeps the grant of rights in the Ark of the Covenant in North Carolina? You have to go request permission to access.
You have to get the card catalog for the Ark.
There's no PDF.
That's not as uncommon as it might sound.
Yeah, I was going to say microfiche.
Yeah, no, it's not as uncommon as it might sound. There's a chunk of different kinds of companies, both private and public, that have specific permissions that have to be made in order for you to actually view certain of their documents, non-public filings, obviously, and records. And I had a couple of friends back in the day in a previous life who spent some time, basically 2 weeks of the year, just camped out in a certain company's basement where they would have to look at these specific things in order to prepare annual filings. But it is funny. It always sounds funny. And so I get that.
I just like it because it seems like a movie setup. I'm wondering, what's the ventilation like to this, wherever the ACC grant of rights is?
We're going to steal the grant of rights.
Well, I can't come up with a movie plot where the ACC grant of rights would be interesting, even as a MacGuffin, but I'm sure that,
it's there. We just gotta workshop it.
The map. It's the map on the back of the grant of rights that you get by using lemon juice and a hairdryer.
That's the real tobacco roadmap. Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's when you realize it was Dallas all along.
That's why they had to add SMU. It was in the prophecies.
Not that SMU is in Dallas, but that's a different podcast.
Close enough.
God, don't get me started on that.
Close enough.
we saw it together.
If you didn't like Georgia 63, Florida State 3, then you really got to switch over to the CW because you got to watch Wyoming 16, Toledo 15, an absolute banger of a goddamn game, including a safety, and the Wyoming and Toledo radio feeds made this game great. If you listen to the CW feed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I made the mistake of flipping this game on without immediately muting it. No. And one of the teams was way backed up on its own one. And the CEO of the furniture company was running his mouth about how he thinks it's really stupid when teams QB sneak in that situation. And I immediately muted the TV. Because dude, do you even watch ball? What?
The Wyoming and Toledo radio calls. The Wyoming and Toledo radio calls were great. I listened to those the entire time.
Oh my god, the Wyoming call was phenomenal.
The Wyoming call all season has been great.
Dude, the Wyoming radio, of the Cowboys is. I want to meet them because they're awesome. I want to shake their hand because they rock. I don't know if it's just where they are in the country, but they paint a fantastic picture
It is. They're some of the best at painting a very vivid picture.
They can describe so much through the radio. Like you can get a sense of the world of what they're looking at. And I don't know what it is. Like Laramie, if you got the mountains behind you, you got the Memorial Stadium there, but the Wyoming radio call is so good. Like they have, I don't even know if they got like access to an online thesaurus, whatever they got, they are phenomenal. And just them to paint this picture for like Craig Bohl's last game as the Wyoming coach. I have a really, 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 really big soft spot for Wyoming. I don't know what it is, but I own like a Wyoming hoodie, like 3 Wyoming t-shirts from home field, the hoodies from home field also. But like I own so much Wyoming stuff. I almost went to the Wyoming game. My plan was to go to the Laramie game, Colorado State on Friday, drive back to Denver, and then fly to Chicago and catch the Iowa Northwestern game. That was my plan for this year. Unfortunately, I have a small baby, and that did not happen. But
it happens.
This game was fantastic. This game came down to like Andrew Peasley, one last drive, one last score for their coach retiring. Shout out to Craig Bohl wearing a black robe before the game. I mean, I love that. I love the Rockets too. I love Toledo. Like they,
2 of my favorite teams this year.
I mean, seriously, like
it was pretty much like the perfect.
I mean, this bowl was amazing. It's in Arizona. It's very, very big stadium, and then they're kind of. I mean, Wyoming's kind of close, I guess, mountain time zone wise. But like Toledo to go all the way out to like Phoenix or Tucson is a bit of a journey. But it's a great matchup. MAC Mountain West. Typically, you see that in the Potato Bowl.
Potato Bowl, right?
Typically that's your matchup. But the radio calls of these games were amazing, and the only reason that I really, really listened to the radio call was because I'm walking my like 10-month-old baby in a stroller, and I got like the headphones in, like just walking around.
Commish, that's 900 miles, by the way, between Laramie and Chase Field.
How many hours?
15.
That ain't shit for Wyoming folks.
Sure.
Like that's nothing. Like, I mean, really, Wyoming folks, like 15. San Antonio to like Denver is like 14.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's nothing for Laramie.
But then you get good weed going in that direction.
I mean,
you're not going away from good weed.
He's right.
I mean, yeah,
I'm here to provide information.
That's right. Legalize it.
Catherine, do you want to emotionally get through that Reliaquest Bowl?
Oh boy.
Oh,
okay.
You won. You won.
Let's talk
LSU won.
Let's talk about the Go Tigers.
LSU won.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Shout out Jerry Donato.
Shout out Jerry Donato. I want to just set the scene because I know that LSU, like, I'll be honest, we're in rarefied air and I get that. But I do want y'all to remember, if you can, 2020 and 2021. We went 500, which is good for some. It didn't feel good. I thought that the worst defense that I would ever see at LSU was the 2021 defense. No, in fact, it can get worse. It can, and it did. Oh, Pitt Girl tried to tell me, and I was like, no, I think that it's just a bad start, but we'll get. No, that didn't work. Matt House, there were some real problems on defense, and Wisconsin, of all people, took advantage. And I say that not to be rude to Wisconsin. I think that Wisconsin fans would admit that offensively, it was the cure for any offense is the LSU defense. LSU went down by 14 points twice in the game, and miraculously came back. Garrett Nussmeyer, toot toot, Nuss Bus, yes, did very well, particularly in the second half, which makes sense as, of course, it was his first career start at LSU. And I thought he performed admirably. He is a Louisiana guy himself. And I remember it was one of the hurricanes. Lake Charles had terrible luck because they had back-to-back major hurricanes hit them. Yeah. And he had just committed, and he was driving to LSU for a game and wound up loading up a trailer full of supplies to drop off in Lake Charles. And that was a really nice thing, and it's really good that he stuck around and had that game and will have next season. Malik Neighbors passed up Josh Reed for the LSU all-time receiving record. Josh Reed is from Rayne, Louisiana, small town in the 337 Acadiana area. Malik Neighbors is from Youngsville outside of Lafayette. So that record stayed within the state of Louisiana and within the 337, which is also my area code.
337?
The defense is very bad, but the offense was quite good. And God, the defense is going to have to be better next year, y'all. I don't know what else to say. Also, shout out to Wisconsin. They had this really fabulous slot receiver that it was really fun to watch.
Yes,
I think his last name was Kakua or something. Tresh Kakua.
Yeah.
He was really great. Tanner Mordecai had a hell of a game.
Mordecai was having some SMU flashbacks. Seriously. Like it's like he had that SMU like come out. I don't know if it was the LSU defense or whatever, but probably. But seriously, I love my 6-year-old. It's basically New Year's Day. He has the Franklin like LSU helmet on, and like the plastic helmet, and it's 14-0, and then like he was hyped at the beginning of the game, and it's 14-0 after the first quarter, and like he's immediately sitting on the couch. It's like my 6-year-old was resigned, but then he saw the 2 touchdowns, and it's 14-14, and he gets excited. But then, like, immediately, right after it's tied, Wisconsin's like right down the field. It's 21-14 halftime. So my 6-year-old was going through some shit.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old going through some shit.
Been there.
Seriously. So, I mean, just in the first half, he was going through some shit. Seriously, my 6-year-old, right? Like, I have to deal with him being a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Like, he is a Joe Burrow fan. Like, look, you got a Bengals shirt on, right? He has a Bengals like t-shirt or whatever. It's weird because it's like Joe Burrow, and he's like, we're watching the Chiefs and the Bengals, and he's like, Mom, leave me alone. Joe Burrow's out for the year. He has a wrist injury. And I'm like, he's 6. What the hell? Son. What the hell, Marino?
No.
But like,
your son is wonderful.
Yeah, he's just a huge fan. Huge fan of Joe Burrow, LSU. He loves Tulane too. But he's a big fan, and really when LSU took the lead with like 3 minutes left, he wasn't too excited.
Because he thought there was too much time left.
No, my 6-year-old knew. My 6-year-old's like, there's like 3 minutes left. There's like, I was like, how much? He was like, how much time is left? I was like 3 minutes and like 8 seconds or whatever after the score. And it's just like, okay. And then he gets on the couch, still having the Franklin helmet on. He's holding like an LSU like national championship mini football from like 2003.
Bay. This is too cute.
From 2003.
So good.
Which I bought this like one when they won with Saban in 2003. So I still have this one. And so he's watching this one, and then I think LSU wins it on defense.
Yes, three straight.
Oh, is it back-to-back sacks? I'm sorry.
I think it was. If it wasn't, it was pretty close to that. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. Just for the first time all season, our interior defensive line finally broke through and just crushed it.
What do you want?
Makai Wingo wears number 18, which is a pretty significant number for LSU. And, he went out, he declared for the draft today and just went out in style, 2 sacks. Mason Smith has been injured for most of the year, and he came back and played very well on those 3 plays in particular. And it felt miraculous in a way that the defense actually kind of won us. No. They didn't win us.
No, that's not. Yeah,
they finally made a stop. They made a stop to win the Reliaquest Bowl.
They couldn't do that against Ole Miss.
They could not do that against Ole Miss. That is correct. They could not do that against any other teams, really. I'm happy for the Nuss Bus. I'm thrilled that the Nuss Bus got a win, which was great. Jaden Daniels on the sideline, thrilled for that was great. It was a good. Look, being an LSU fan besides 2019, you're gonna have a heart attack watching those games.
Yep.
They're very stressful.
And there is never anything easy. I mean, you remember the Les Miles era of 2007. There is nothing easy.
No.
Like 2019 was a total anomaly.
Crazy.
It was nuts.
Yeah,
It was insane. So to have LSU, I thought Wisconsin was going to run away with it after the first quarter. I was like, this is the bowl game where everybody's on one team, and then the other team just shows up and just blows the other team the crap out. But the Reliaquest Bowl and LSU won the Bloomin' Onion, right? Wait, no.
We would have won the Bloomin' Onion.
How dare
it never made sense. It still doesn't.
It should have been the coconut shrimp. It doesn't matter. SEC should have got a coconut shrimp.
Yeah, because we have shrimp.
We love shrimp.
Frankly, But as a final point, I will say I was surprised because outside of personnel, there's not a ton you can take away from bowl games, as we've discussed.
Right.
Luke Fickell's timidity in several spots in the game, LSU's defense as a butter, any offense as a hot knife. If it's 4th and 2, 4th and 4, you should go for it. And there were several times when I was just like, I think that if Luke Fickell just had a bit more confidence in his offense, and then I think Wisconsin does run away with it. They played a good game. They just it just wound up going LSU's way. Looking forward to next season. Go Tigers.
I mean, Luke Fickell really, he did not embrace the Bobby Boucher method of coaching with Dan Fouts from the Waterboy. Last game of the year, can't hold nothing back now. He did not embrace it, and then it kind of bit him.
The only thing I'm going to say about the Fiesta Bowl is that I have donated $45 at the Trevor Project, and everyone else should do the same if they are.
I wanted Oregon to score more.
I am happy to donate that money because
I wanted Oregon to score more.
That's fine. Mm-hmm. It was fine.
Oregon more.
I'm not gonna even give this thing any more oxygen.
Kylo Ren more.
More.
And then
let's do it.
And then we get to our semifinal games. This is not really our jam because, in all honesty, these games were very good for the most part, and I feel like there's a couple things to talk about, but not a ton.
The special teams was not.
Okay. So let's talk about the Rose Bowl first.
Let's talk about that.
The Rose Bowl. The special teams were super interesting.
Hey, hold on.
Because
can I do something here? I want to do a little bit of. Y'all need to calm the fuck down about every fucking bowl game in the playoff at the Rose Bowl. Chill the fuck out. Seriously. I'm done with this shit. Don't give me that shit. The Orange Bowl has just, fantastic sunset. You can start it early, whatever. The Sugar Bowl has phenomenal things. In the Superdome, there's some crazy shit happening. But you're falling in love with this weird ass, sunset in Pasadena, over the Rose Bowl, and you're dramatizing this shit like Hollywood. Calm the fuck down. All right,
this year's sunset wasn't even that good.
Seriously, there was a cloud in the sky. There was.
Pasadena is the only place where the sun sets.
I
So
mean,
you gotta go to
seriously,
Pasadena.
like, I mean, if you really want to do it, like, fucking have a sunset over Independence Bowl instead of having it at like fucking 9 p.m. I mean, seriously, don't give me that shit. You're playing the Alamo Bowl at like fucking like fucking like 9 p.m. like Eastern. Like throw the Alamo Bowl. Like there's 4 pillars to shine the sun off of in San Antonio. This is some look. I love the Rose Bowl, the majesty. I love the colors on the sidelines. I love all this shit.
The parade, Commish, the parade.
The parade is sponsored by
I actually
Honda.
like the parade.
It's sponsored by Honda.
The parade
They're
is great.
dancing in front of a Honda fucking CRV. All right, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, helpful
hey, hold
Honda
on, let me do
people. Come
Honda
on.
CRV. Let's pop, lock, and drop it in front of a fucking Honda Civic. SI.
Wow,
Who
he
gives
is-
a shit?
Commish is losing his shit.
I am
now.
no.
Here's
Don't give me that shit.
here's what I will
Fuck.
say. I think that it is lovely that there is a tradition that so many people care about. I think that's wonderful. I think that where a point of frustration comes in for me personally, and this is my personal opinion, and it is not forced upon anybody else, but I don't have a deep emotional connection to the Rose Bowl. And so if you are assuming that everybody in the country has a deep emotional connection to the Rose Bowl, then I'm sorry, but like, it's just not the case. And I think it's wonderful that so many people do, and I think that's great. I don't. And so if somebody's going to say that the national championship should be at the Rose Bowl every year, well, that's awfully inconvenient. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. And frankly, I kind of agree with the whole like chill out thing. Not that you can't enjoy it, but don't force it on me. I don't need that in my life. I'm okay. I'm happy as I am, and I don't need the Rose Bowl to be a magical oasis
Dude,
of joy
Man,
and
this
rainbows
is a lot of hate
and
on UCLA
sunsets.
football.
Let's say
right now.
you can buy UCLA
Just for
season tickets
UCLA
and go.
football.
I went to a game. It was nice.
It's
It
nice.
was really nice. Even
It's
though
great.
LSU lost,
It's
it
a
was nice.
fantastic time.
Like,
I don't need to have my bowl
Give me a
game with an
break.
Instagram filter.
yeah. Like that. You know what? Yeah, that's right. The Rose Bowl, that's the social media talking.
That's
all right?
it.
And I will not be
I don't.
influenced.
I am not.
You can
I'm
believe
done.
me.
Like we got the Louisiana here. Like I mean, no, I'm done. The Orange Bowl is
No.
just as majestic. I will give you that shit. Like Miami, the Orange Bowl, like you can get a fucking phenomenal sunset in Miami. You can get one in New Orleans. Sorry, Jerry World, you can't do it because you never opened the roof.
Nah.
But whatever. I don't give a shit.
The scoreboard's in the
Really
way.
get a good. You can get a good
A
sense
word
of
in
New
defense of the
Shout
Rose Bowl.
out to Shreveport. You can get a sunset there too.
And I'm not a Rose Bowl honk, right? I grew up in what is now Big Ten country, but I am not myself, nor have I ever been a Big Ten fan. However,
Yet.
It
Wait,
is
wait
the-
for a couple years.
Yeah.
Penn State's never going to let that happen. You can hold your breath.
I'd rather
I
have
won't
Pitt than
mind.
Penn State, to be honest.
You are a man of culture.
That's what Texas A&M said.
Yeah. However, there is something to be said for the fact that the Rose Bowl is now the only major bowl game that is played in an actual college sports venue. The Dolphin Stadium does not count. And there is I appreciate the tradition and history of the Rose Bowl and the unique venue in the same way that I appreciate Fenway Park, right? It is not perfect, it is not modern, but it is something that remains of what this sport once was. And as annoying as the Rose Bowl committee and the Tournament of Roses and the city of Pasadena have been about like, well, we only play on January 1st and we're only going to kick off at 5 p.m. Eastern. So then you have to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday that's a work night to watch the Sugar Bowl. And as awful and annoying as that is for us as fans of the sport, I think there are still things that are good and cool and important about the Rose Bowl. And I would like to go to one someday. So
I'm not talking about the Rose Bowl like overall general. I'm talking about the people that are saying that the championship should only be at the Rose Bowl. They can go to hell.
That would be
They can
terrible.
go to
It's
hell.
like saying the
That would be
Olympics should
They
very
can go
only
to
be in
hell.
Greece.
They can go to hell.
Yeah.
There's other
And
cities that can host that. If you want to just do it over a sunset, whatever. No, go to hell. Go ahead, Arthur.
So I Googled sunniest cities in the U.S. I figured that would be like the cities with the most sun would probably have the most sunsets. And apparently the sunniest city in the U.S. is Phoenix, Arizona. But, the stadium, what is it called now? State Farm Stadium, I think.
I think so.
The one where they play
as
the
Chris
Fiesta
Berman
Bowl.
called it, the big toaster.
Yeah. So that has a roof, right? So that's not good for the sunset.
The big
So I
toastery
think
bowl.
they should play for the maximal sunset. They should play it at Sun Devil Stadium. It even has
Perfect.
sun right in the name.
It does. It has it in the
And
name.
That's you gotta and if you start the game like a little bit before sunset, you're probably good in terms of heat. So
Yeah.
I think that Sun Devil Stadium should host the national championship.
Look, I'm gonna give you some stuff about the Rose Bowl. It feels like the team that was going into the Sun in the first quarter was at a disadvantage.
So that was the interesting thing is that
Yeah.
it felt like a lot of the Biscues were having trouble because of the sun.
That's right.
Because they were trying to pick up punts
Take
going
that.
into the sun.
Take that shit,
Michigan-
Rose Bowl.
Michigan had a ton of those tons of problems with the special teams. This came
Michigan also threw a pick that ended up coming back on the first play.
seriously, first play of the
game.
Let's not forget
Oh
that.
my God! What kind of
that
luck that was?
I mean,
Caleb.
but
Oh, I was just going to say, Caleb Downs has been one of the best freshmen in college football. He is, when we say elite, it has become overused. Caleb Downs
he's a
is
stud.
elite in a way that, like, it's just incredible. An incredibly lucky break, and it would be so interesting because the thing about Michigan in this game is that there were so many mistakes made, frankly, on both sides, but Michigan certainly, it felt like they were just shooting themselves in the foot. And, I hate to not to play into stereotypes here, but there was some real grit and determination to fight through those mistakes and just keep pushing forward. And I thought that was really impressive in terms of just the mental stability and focus, especially compared to last year when famously J.J. McCarthy threw 3 pick sixes, was it? They didn't not make mistakes. It was not a clean game, obviously, but they recovered from those mistakes in a much better way.
It was such a well-called game by both the coordinators.
yes.
The third quarter was a bit of a mess, but for Sharon Moore, most of the play calling was exceptional. And the defensive game plan to limit the deep pass, allow Bama to get those 3-4 yard runs, and then kind of not spy, but bring these exotic pressures. It was just amazing. Those guys are both going to be head coaches in like 2 years.
Maybe sooner,
latest.
but yeah, no.
Sharon Moore should probably be a head coach next year, but
yeah.
Well, I mean,
see.
Jim Harbaugh is going to wind up at the
Bears, right?
No, I think the Bears are going to keep Eberflus.
What XFL team will hire Jim Harbaugh?
Jim Harbaugh, Atlanta Falcons coach.
Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban replacement.
Wait, no, I cannot do it. No, wait. Jim Harbaugh,
Lane
Saban
Kiffin would be
replacement.
so mad.
Lane Kiffin, Michigan head coach.
Oh,
Yeah. Woo!
My favorite hypothetical is still that time that we talked about Lane Kiffin to Penn State. He would hate State College so
God,
much.
Lane Kiffin would hate Penn State so much.
Which teams did I say should coach swap in an episode? Was it A&M?
I have no idea.
Jimbo and Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly at Texas A&M.
Oh my God, Brian Kelly and Jimbo.
Yeah.
So Jalen Milroe, here's something that did kind of get me going into the game, right? Jalen Milroe, after the Auburn game, and not to be disrespectful to him, there was a lot of people who were like, oh my gosh, Jalen Milroe might be one of the best quarterbacks in the country, whatever. He had, I think, a 65 or 67% completion rating or percentage in the Auburn game. And 4th and 31 was a great play. Beth's here. 4th and 31 was a great play, but the reason that they were in a 4th and 31 situation was because of major mental mistakes that Jalen Milroe had made. And I think that Grish was completely correct. It was the exotic pressures. Milroe did not know where the pressure was going to come from. It deeply affected his ability to make reads, and Tommy Rees did not adjust effectively at all. It wasn't until really
or maybe the
second
center,
half that he started.
or maybe the center just couldn't snap the damn ball straight to Jalen.
Both things could be
also-
true.
Seriously, like there's a thing where I feel like Alabama center used to be like maybe like a tackle, and they had to plug him in at center, but that wasn't the case, right?
Nope.
Right, Catherine?
No, no. He's been playing center. I think this is at least his second season playing center for Alabama.
So like, you would
yeah.
think they would work those kinks out, but in that game, it's still not there, right, Pitt Girl?
I have a theory, and my theory is this. There must always be a flaw in the Death Star, right? And for the longest time, it was that Bama couldn't kick. That, Bama kickers was meme, right? Their kicker, very good now,
Yes.
So it has to be something else.
The fatal flaw.
We have identified the something else.
The fatal flaw in the Death Star.
This is the exhaust port.
The exhaust port is the shitty snapper on offense.
Well, and generally the offensive line
And
for
then-
really the past. Oh, sorry.
Maybe it actually is Tommy Rees. Next game.
And then, of course, we have the other game for the evening, the Sugar Bowl, which started so damn late.
The Sugar Dome.
And it was funny because I was very nervous going into this, and Pitt Girl sends me a message going, I forget you're a Texas fan sometimes. Yeah, I hide it pretty well. Really only the Oklahoma game is usually the game that makes me really crazy. But this game also made me crazy going into it. I will admit that I had an absolute blast this game. Like, I had like fun. This was a great game. It was just pew 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 all the time, which what more do you want? The first half was just a banger. Washington pulls away in the third quarter, and then Texas I was willing to go to sleep. I was like, I'm done. It's great. It's fine. Good fight. It's done. But Texas comes back. And then, y'all, something magical happened. One more second. The minute they go, put one more second back on the clock, I was like, it's done. Texas wins this. This is our game. This is it. And then they don't. And you know what? I am okay with this. Michael Penix Jr. is an absolute madman. The windows he was throwing into, like no one else could have caught those. Like no one else could have thrown those. It was never going to happen to anyone else. And you know what? To get beat by that, cool. We got smoked by a generational talent. Cool.
Yeah.
That happens.
Michael Penix is wild because the more I watch him throw, the less I understand any of it.
Yep.
Jordan, I have to ask you. Hi, this is Beth. I'm also on this
Hi,
podcast.
Beth.
Hi, Beth.
I've just been very quiet up till now.
Oh, you're
Floyd.
Brian Floyd.
Beth
Excellent.
Floyd.
Mhm. I have to ask, were Pitt Girl and I good or bad for your emotional health during this game?
It was great. I was having a blast with y'all because something good would happen. It'd be like happy mooing, and then bad something sad mooing. And yes, it was great. Y'all were like helping me roll through this. It was fun.
I think we were trying. I was trying. I won't speak for Pitt Girl.
Yeah,
I was having fun.
it was
And
great.
I was trying to both be supportive and have a good time with it.
Yes, you absolutely
Yes.
were. And honestly, like that, it's been a long time since Texas has played a game like this where they played pretty much all out and still lost it. Did not lose it for any dumb reasons. Lost it just because it was a hard game. And you know what? That feels pretty good. Don't say a fucking word. Don't shut the fuck up. This is my
Can I say
eulogy.
anything?
Yeah, Catherine, you're happy to say something. I don't want. I don't
Okay.
want grumpy
I do
pants over
think-
here.
Okay, I think that Steve Sarkisian got in his head a little bit.
That is true.
I think that's fair to say. I think that there was just a lack of connection for a lot of the game, Quinn Ewers and the Texas receivers. Washington was playing really good coverage. I think the biggest mistake that Steve Sarkisian made isn't one that's obvious. Well, it's obvious in hindsight, but he just stopped running the ball by and large, and that was really effective. And I think that I understand you're behind and Washington can score so quickly that maybe that was the mindset. But if you're averaging 7.1 yards per rush attempt in the first half, then you shouldn't get away from that. It's just that simple. On that note, though, he wasn't the only one who got a little stir crazy, because the reason Texas got back into it was because obviously there was mismanagement, but Washington got too cute.
They got so damn cute.
They got really
Run the
cute.
damn ball.
Well, run the
No.
damn. Well, no, but that's the thing.
That's
That's
not
part of the problem.
Washington's-
Don't run the damn ball.
That's not
The best thing
Washington's
that you
game.
have. No, the best thing you have is a trio of wide receivers who are incredible and a running back who is very good at catching the football. It is one of those teams where it is a lot like 2019 LSU. And I think if people are insulted by that, then they need to grow the hell up. It is a lot like 2019 LSU. A short pass is the equivalent of a
That's
run.
right.
Yeah.
There were
That's
at least 3 sequences, one in the first quarter, 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half, where they ran Dylan Johnson straight up the middle 3 times, and it ended drives. That happened 3 times. The last of those times was the most like, what the heck is happening? Because obviously that was when they were trying to run the clock out, and Dylan Johnson he got hurt, but it seems like he's going to be okay. But that had happened several times. Know what you are good at, and if the other team can't stop it, just keep going to what you're good at. And that is what happened. Washington got away from that and allowed Texas an opportunity to come back.
The other thing that's bonkers about that, real quick, is just that running up the middle against that Texas DL.
It's
so fucking stupid.
It's such a bad idea.
No. Okay, so I'm going to give you this right here, right? Washington takes a lead in the third quarter. They dominate the ever-living shit out of the third quarter.
Third quarter was a mess.
The third quarter was a mess, right? The only play that Texas ran on offense was a run for 7 yards, like Catherine said, but they fumbled and they lost the ball. So Washington took advantage, but Texas was able to hold them to a field goal to make it 34-21. If Texas does not hold them there to a field goal, it's 38-21. That's basically all bets off. The game is pretty much over.
Yep.
Texas hanging on to that thread there. It's 34-21, right? Texas turns the ball over again.
That one about did me.
Right? It's still 34-21. But then Washington tries this bullshit flea flicker double reverse pass.
I'm so glad.
Let me snap it between my legs, behind the head, Harlem Globetrotter shit.
Too cute.
Right?
I love trick plays, but that was bad.
That was just like, I figured Washington was going to go for the kill via style points. They wanted the Mortal Kombat fatality. They wanted they wanted Liu Kang kicking you in the face, throwing fireballs
but
and
it's
shit
like that, but
at
then so you fuck up the fatality and you just go over and punch.
Yeah, basically what happened there. Texas got fucking angry after that point.
Yeah.
And that led Texas to fight back. But the only problem is like Texas could not hold them enough. And then it was 37-28, right? 9-point game. But when Texas scored the touchdown, it was 34-27, right?
Something like that.
Right?
No, because it
No, it was 34-21. Texas scored a touchdown. So 34-27. Right? Sark did not go for 2. Did not go for 2. Didn't go for 2. Didn't do it. Didn't do it.
Commish, did he go for 2?
He did not.
Gotta drop a deuce.
He did not drop a deuce on you on Bourbon Street, which I've actually seen somebody drop a deuce on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, that
besides
surprised
the
me either.
movies that they showed, and the lady with the unicorn stroller
I think I've seen that too. I think I blocked it out.
Maybe it was fresh in
so
August.
it was
disgusting.
It was 28.
Oh,
It was
no.
It was 28-34 after the touchdown.
So again, it's 34-27. He goes for 2 and he gets it, right? If he goes for 2 and he gets it, it's 34-29. So he prevents the field goal from making it a 2-possession game.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to fight with this weird 2-point conversion thing. Now, let me not get to the injury shit that happened where the clock stopped running.
Yeah,
that was weird. That was like I thought when they would set the ball again, the clock would stop running. But no, as soon as he got hurt, that was it. I was just like, what? Why didn't the clock stop running another 25 seconds?
Well, but isn't that, that's how it always works, right? That's why you'll get late in games of somebody collapsing and people will boo, but you have to have the injury timeout because if somebody can't get off the field, they can't get off the field.
Right.
It just, in this instance, the funny thing is that the team that had the ball wanted the clock to run.
Right.
Typically, it's sort of the other way where a team is driving down the field, they have momentum, and the other team wants to disrupt that momentum.
Yeah, so that was weird. I thought for sure that the clock would run. I tweeted that they maybe need to revisit this rule, which is kind of.
Yeah,
but
then what are you giving? Are you giving the coach the option? Like, hey, coach, do you want to do the 25-second runoff? With I just don't know if that necessarily.
Actually, I guess that could work in that situation because if you take an injury, and I remember being mad about the NFL version of this rule during a Steelers game in which Kenny Pickett was playing, because if there's in the NFL, I think it's within 2 minutes of the half. If you go down with an injury, it takes a timeout away, right? In college, that rule also exists, but it's under 1 minute. I don't see a real reason why that couldn't be timeout or X amount or
runoff.
So it would have been
it's timeout or X amount of time.
There was like
runoff,
a 10-second runoff that Texas declined to take. Instead of so Washington could have killed 40 seconds of the clock, but since the stop of the clock happened, the play clock was dropped to 25. So you lost 15 seconds. And so there still would have been 20 seconds, 22 seconds left before they had to punt. So I don't know about the rule there. I am not a person that can figure things like that out. I am the commish of the Sickos committee, but I am not necessarily.
You mean in Section 3, Article 5 of the NCAA rules, as I'm presently reading them? Those rules?
Yes,
there
Beth.
You go.
That is correct, Beth. You got that. That is the Mountaineer math.
Well,
Woo!
I said that was I'm very happy with the way it went. It was a good game.
Glad they teach Googling at WP.
I'm glad that everything sort of everything worked out nicely.
Are you ready for the off season of Arch Manning, Jordan? That's something you have to look forward to.
Oh, I'm super excited about that.
Hey, you have to let Arch Manning play in New Orleans because he's from New Orleans.
You gotta let him play.
You gotta do it. It's in the Napoleonic code.
The girl was losing her
That
shit.
is now my most likely.
Seriously. I looked at your tweet, Pitt Girl, and it was 1.2 thousand likes. And I thought
that
it was
tweet
just
did fucking numbers.
Oh my god! I quote tweeted it, and I was like, I got 15 likes, and then I looked at your tweet, and it was just 1,200.
Yeah, it was doing me having breakfast at Tudor's Biscuit World math.
From my personal account, yeah.
Listen, that's
dear ESPN.
If my personal account did a number like that, I would delete it immediately.
Yeah.
People are watching me now, yeah.
I understand that Quinn Ewers was potentially concussed.
Possibly. He did bang his head pretty hard.
Possibly concussed. He did bang his head very hard. That is a reason why Arch Manning should be warming up. There is no reason, not even if you, guy in my mentions, are Nick Saban and you think you need to put the other guy in and, just shake things up because sometimes it works. There's no reason to put an untested freshman who has never started a game in a playoff game just to see what happens. I don't care what his fucking name is. I don't care who his fucking daddy is. And I don't care that he's from New Orleans.
Listen, there's a certain magic to the Crescent City that I don't think you understand it.
Hey, Arch Manning is from Uptown, and it's about to go down. If you're from New Orleans,
Newman.
you understand
we're
that.
all the really hard people in New Orleans.
Yeah,
That's right.
Go to school.
That's right.
Newman.
Isadore Newman.
Oh,
Taking it
God.
down.
Les Bon Temps or something.
Laissez show boobies on Bourbon Street today.
Mm.
Okay,
Never-
we have
and
lost
I
the
wanna
fucking
go
plot
to-
here. Go.
Yeah, no.
This tweet has 102,000 views. Whoa.
Don't go to Bourbon Street. If you go to New Orleans, go to Magazine, go to the Garden District. Have some self-respect. Get some good alcohol. Don't drink those sugar bombs.
My assumption is Bourbon Street is like Times Square. Is that
No.
actual?
Yeah, it is.
Like Bourbon Street, if you want to see some boobies, I'm just going to say that. You can go to Bourbon Street at like 3 in the afternoon.
That used to be what Times Square was for.
I'm just saying, you can go to Bourbon Street at like 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and you're going to see somebody flashing for some beads, which that's fine. You see the lady pushing her baby in a stroller, a unicorn stroller, while somebody's flashing for beads at like 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Bourbon Street. That is a common occurrence. That is something that happens all the time in New Orleans.
That was pre-recorded tape.
Look,
that someone missed.
Someone missed the boobies. Which again, hire the Sickos Committee. We know what's going on in New Orleans at pretty much almost all the time, and we can warn you for this. Also, we can tell you that the GMC Sierra has 15% off MSRP. Definitely with all the commercials right now.
Wait, Jordan, are you saying that was B-roll?
That was B-roll, dude.
Booby roll.
That was
it was booby roll.
That was not live.
It was
okay.
B cup roll.
We need to stop this because I'm tired. It's like 12:41 on the East Coast.
God damn, we're late.
It's only the second night in a row that I've stayed up until 1 a.m. for
So
football
everyone,
reasons.
we're not going to preview the title game. Michigan's going to play Washington.
And also Montana.
We have a whole other podcast before the title game anyway, Jordan.
Not really. FCS title game. It's Montana versus South Dakota State.
Oh, I'll be at that one.
I'll be there too.
The single most sickos thing that we can do is preview a game where our preview is going to come out after the game has occurred.
Perfect.
That's very us.
Catherine, thank you for joining us. Andrew, thank you for joining us. Beth, glad you made
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Pitt Girl, bye. Arthur, I love you. Commish, go get some sleep. Everyone, go now. Go fight.
You can't tell me what to do.
That's right. We got them boobies.